You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Scorpio.
Morning, Yankees universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew. I'm your guy Hector, joined by the compañeros this morning. I got the lovely Grace Monroe, and I got mi hermano de la isla, my guy Ghost. We are in the building, folks. How are you feeling? Wakey, wakey.
Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. This time tomorrow, I will be on a beach in
Watching
Jamaica.
on TikTok, click the link in the bio, jump on over.
Oh, am I muted?
Oh, no, I was muted. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. I was just saying, this time tomorrow, I will be on a beach in Jamaica reading a book about the New York Yankees winning the World Series in 2009. Shout out. Drinking a drink and relaxing. So see y'all. I won't be here next week. I'll miss you all, kind of, but I'll be on the beach. And I've been getting my tan on, as you can see. I know you're all thinking, Grace, you're so tan. Thank you. Just preparing. But we got a lot to talk about today. I got my red lipstick on because I'm ready to fight. I should have put eye black on. I told Hector backstage, I should have put eye black on. I'm ready to go 9 rounds.
We fighting this one? Hold on, wait. This what we coming into? No, that's the wrong one. This one. Yeah, this is war tune. We got war.
Yes.
We got war. It's wartime. Ghost. How are you feeling, my guy? Shout out to the chat. One of the best chats that are out there. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good. It's going to be a great conversation today.
Yes, it is. And like Grace talked about, I'm here to have fights. I'm here for the tussles. I'm here to have the conversation. Let's shout out the chat before we continue. Shout out to NY Yankee Mania in the building. First one, check it in. How you doing? He says, hi, guys. How are you doing from the interview that Steinbrenner gave the other night? I don't know. Some people seem to feel this more to come. I just don't see it from his comments. Yankee Mania, we're going to dive deep into that one. My guy, Jacob Petruzzi, is in the building. Jacob, how you doing? Jonathan is in the building, a.k.a. Mr. Do Your Job. Jonathan is in the building. Our good friend Tina is in the building. Double A, salute. Double A, he says, greetings and salutations, Hector and Grace, and the amazing chat family. I would like to see Peraza get the same opportunity as Volpe to succeed. Instead of going the way of Florial and others, LA are buying it. Shout out to Double A, appreciate you. Theo Nosebleed section is in the building. James DeVar is in the building. How you doing? Salute. Our good friend Stephen B. Anthony Medina, how you doing? Chris the Flash is in the building. Nosebleed is like, enjoy the tropical weather, Grace. Yeah. Right? Palm trees and Grace know what I'm talking about. Joey C is in the building. Sean Browning, how you doing? And if you guys can, please smack that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching me on TikTok, click the link in the bio, jump on over to YouTube. Same thing on Facebook and Twitter as well. But Grace, I'm going to tee it up perfectly for you so you can lead the conversation. We got to talk, and we got to start with Hal Steinbrenner and his comments that he had yesterday or a couple of days ago, sitting down with Meredith Marakovich. Dan Clark put out there, Hal Steinbrenner, this is just the one part about the Dodgers. We got many quotes to start with. But on the Dodgers, this is what he said. It's difficult for most of us owners to be able to do the kind of things they're doing. We'll see it if it pays off. They still have the season with relatively injury-free for it to work out for them. Again, a lot of words salad right there. Grace, let's get your thoughts, folks in the chat. Let's get your thoughts when it comes to Hal Steinbrenner. Go ahead, Grace.
Okay, so here we go. We're starting right out. Okay, so it says, I'm just gonna dissect this quote real quick, okay? Quote, it's difficult for most of us owners to be able to do the kinds of things they're doing. Okay, let's just talk about this first sentence. It's difficult, not it's impossible, not we can't hang with the Dodgers, not Yankees have no money, we're filing for bankruptcy, okay? Everybody is losing their minds over this quote. He never said, we can't keep up, blah, blah, blah. He said, it's difficult. Where is the lie? It is difficult, okay? That doesn't mean that they can't do it, but it is difficult. He did not say anything crazy. Okay, so now, next sentence. We'll see if it pays off. Okay, well, let's do two sentences. They still have to have a season relatively injury-free for it to work out for them. Yes, that is true. That is true of any team, anytime, anywhere. The healthiest team is usually going to go the furthest, right? And money can't buy you out of an injury. It doesn't matter how much money you spend on somebody, they could still get injured, okay? Right? So that is not a lie. So what does everybody have their panties in a wad about? I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Grace. When it comes to the comments that Hal Steinbrenner said, and you hit it right on the head with the comment and how he said it. It's not difficult. I think fans are looking too much into what he said, and they're just trying to pull at something just to have something to argue about, right? I don't expect Hal Steinbrenner, when asked, do you guys think that you're better than the Dodgers? When Hal says, I think we're better than any team that's out there. What do you guys expect Hal Steinbrenner to be like? Well, you know what? Yeah, the Dodgers are better than us, right? The Dodgers, the Dodgers are the kings of Major League Baseball, right? Yeah, the Yankees suck. Hal Steinbrenner is not going to say that. You as fans may not like that. Us as fans may get annoyed by the way that he tiptoes around a question, but for Yankee fans to act like Hal Steinbrenner cannot go to war with the LA Dodgers, right? When you listen to Hal, he literally said it. The game plan or the way that the LA Dodgers run their business is different than the New York Yankees and how they run their business. Hal Steinbrenner is not going to defer any payments the way that the LA Dodgers defer payments. That's not going to happen. And again, the Dodgers, they got one championship with Shohei Ohtani. One. Let's see what happens over the next 10 years, how many championships they get. And when you look at the Dodgers roster and you look at our roster has a lot of question marks. Our roster has a lot of players that if they're healthy, they can produce. The Dodgers somewhat have the same situation when you look at their starting rotation. When you look at Yamamoto, he dealt with injuries last year. When you look at Shohei Ohtani coming back to pitch, this is Shohei Ohtani coming back to pitch after his second Tommy John surgery. That's only a handful of pitchers that's gotten that surgery and has been able to be successful. The only one that I could think of off the top of my head has been Nathan Eovaldi. Besides that, Jameson's Tyon, he's been okay, but there hasn't been many pitchers that had that surgery and has been as successful as it was prior to having that surgery, right? So we don't know what Shohei Ohtani is going to be. We don't know what Rohei Sasaki is going to be in his rookie year coming over to the States. You saw what Yamamoto went through towards the end of the season. So the same way how the Yankees have question marks, the same way how the Mets have question marks, the same way how the Phillies have question marks, the Dodgers, they have question marks as well. Every other team has question marks. It's what are you going to do in the middle of the season when you have to improve your team? And that's what separated the Dodgers from everyone else last year. At the trade deadline, what did the Dodgers do? They went out there and they added to their team. They added valuable pieces to their team that took them over the hump when it came to October. No shade to Brian Cashman, but we got Jazz Chisholm, which was a solid upgrade, which what we needed desperately in that lineup. We didn't add anything else. The Dodgers clearly beat us from that standpoint at the trade deadline. Ghost, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it isn't the easiest pill to swallow when he says all that, but at the same time, he has made some moves to kind of really solidify the team a little bit better than what it was. You obviously don't want to hear that from an owner. You always want to hear him compete, always wanting to get to the next player, get the next piece we need to win, and not worry so much. But when I heard this statement from him, obviously I was pissed because I was hoping that he wouldn't have said this, tried to backpedal a little bit, try not to say too much. But at the same time, you know, if you're an owner, you're supposed to go out there and compete all the time. And I understand that not everyone thinks like the Dodgers or thinks like anybody else. But at the same time, he has to be a little bit more competitive instead of stating statements like this.
No, I agree with you, Ghost. Sorry, I was just talking to the TikTok chat right there. Shout out to everybody else that's tuned in right now. If you guys can, please smack that like button and hit that subscribe button as we have this very emotional conversation, right? Because like Jonathan says, there's 16 likes. Guys, please smack that like button. Big Time Jerry said, good morning, everyone. God bless you all. The Dodgers need to remember you don't win the World Series on paper. You do it when it comes to playing on the field. And I agree with you, Jerry. We've seen so many teams load up in the offseason thinking they had the best offseason, and then when the regular season comes up, they don't show up and they don't perform, right? But this is the one message that I got to send to Yankee fans. For Yankee fans that are upset with Howard Steinbrenner, for Yankee fans that are upset with Brian Cashman, with the way that the roster is constructed right now, right? Last year, right, going into spring training, we were expecting DJ LeMahieu to be a part of the mix. What happened in spring training, Grace? DJ LeMahieu got injured, and what did Brian Cashman do? He went out there and he traded for John Birdie. Even though John Birdie played for a couple of weeks, he got injured as well, missed some times. He still went out there in spring training and he made an addition. And I think, and I feel that's the same way the Yankees are going to attack the third base situation. I don't expect them to go out there and make a trade for Arenado. I don't expect them to make a trade for a third baseman. I expect them when we get to spring training, we're going to assess the field and we're going to make a trade just to improve ourselves from a very minor point. If we can't get off of Marcus Stroman's contract, that $18 million that's guaranteed this year, they got a vested option into the next year. I think that's the way that the Yankees are going to go when it comes to third base.
Everybody is so focused on the Dodgers, and I'm literally done. I don't give a fuck about the Dodgers until October, okay? I don't care. That's none of my business. Whatever they're doing over there on the West Coast, I don't give okay? You can quote me on that. Let me tell you something. We're not competing with the Dodgers until a 7-game series, possibly in October, okay? We're competing with the American League. We're competing with the AL East. Are you telling me that the Orioles had a better offseason than us? Are you scared of the Orioles? Are you scared of the Blue Jays? I can't even say it with a straight face. Are you scared of the Boston Red Sox? Scared of the Rays? No. Okay? We made great moves in the offseason to improve our team. We are favorited to go back to the World Series as we are right now. If we need to make moves, we can make moves later. They are already paying for DJ LeMahieu, and I told y'all months ago he's going to be on the starting team. I'm telling you, because they're already paying for him. They're going to give him at least a shot. If they can squeak out, 60 games with DJ LeMahieu before they DFA him, which is, I think, inevitable that he will be DFA'd most likely this season. But if they can squeak out 60 games with him before they make that move, while they get their ducks in a row and they make the move they want to make, not out of desperation, but out of planning, let me see exactly how I'm going to use this money to best improve our team at the right time, they're going to do that, okay? They just got Josh Donaldson off the books. Aaron Hicks is still on the books. Aaron Hicks, okay? So they have shown not only a willingness to DFA people that are still owed a lot of money, but also they're not just going to go willy-nilly and do it crazy. They're going to maximize the value of what they've already paid for, what they're already paying for before they make a move. That's how a successful business is run. And the Yankees are a successful business, no matter how you slice it, okay? Let me stop.
Grace is cooking right now. Shout out to my guy Big Ant NYC with the $5 super chat. Big Ant says the problem isn't how. The problem lies with Cashman for how he allocates a 300+ payroll. How needs to make change with upper management. Big Ant, I think every Yankee fan, we share your sentiment when it comes to upper management, right? When it comes to Brian Cashman's not going anywhere. Right. I think that's one thing Yankee fans, they need to just put that in their head and just settle with the fact that Brian Cashman, he will leave the Yankees when he is ready to go. When Brian Cashman is ready to retire, that's the moment Brian Cashman will not be a part of the Yankees front office as an executive. You may see him in some capacity later on in his life with the New York Yankees, but when it comes to him running the team, Brian Cashman will never be let go. I know a lot of Yankee fans do not like hearing that. Maybe deep down, I don't like hearing that, right? But it is what it is with Brian Cashman. His track record speaks for itself. Nobody can take away Brian Cashman's championships. Nobody can take away what Brian Cashman has been a part of with the New York Yankees. The good and the bad. The good being some of the great years and the bad being Carl Pavano and Jacoby Ellsbury. That's the bad right there. I want to shout out the chat before we continue. My guy Eddie Snaps is in the building. Eddie, my guy, how you doing? Salute to you. But Anthony Medina said the team just came off a World Series and you're going to have DJ as a starter. I hope not.
I'm telling you. gonna happen.
I think when we get to spring training, right, the only way Peraza gets a shot at to crack the opening day roster, Peraza needs to hit 500. If Oswald Peraza, if he hits 500 in spring training, that's him. He's getting that starting third base job. That's the only way that happens. If not, it's going to go to DJ LeMahieu. One, because he's a veteran, and two, because of the money that is attached to him. The Yankees are going to still try to make it work. Even if they have to start the season with DJ LeMahieu, DFA him in the middle of the season and go out there and get a third baseman, Yankee fans, we have to understand reality, and reality is the Yankees ran out Aaron Hicks how many times for how long? And we had to deal with it. The Yankees ran Josh Donaldson out at third base for how long and how many innings? We had to deal with it. It was the same shit with Joey Gallo. They ran Joey Gallo out there and force-fed Joey Gallo to us. And it's the same thing with DJ LeMahieu right now. We may not like it. We may not want to hear it. But reality is, spring training, DJ LeMahieu is going to get every opportunity to be the starting third baseman for the New York Yankees. Reality is that opening day, our starting third baseman may be DJ LeMahieu, and Yankee fans need to come to grips with that reality. I don't see the Yankees making a trade for Ryan McMahon to be our third baseman to start the season. I don't see the Yankees making a trade, calling up the Cleveland Guardians, convincing them to trade Jose Ramirez. That's not happening. And Yankee fans, we just need to live with the reality. And the reality is this may be the roster we have going into spring training and opening day.
Ghost, what you think?
Yeah, you're going to have to stick with DJ LaGlasshouse and just deal with it. You know what I mean? You're going to have to stick with DJ LaGlasshouse until they figure out that they have to either put Peraza there or someone that's capable of just leave Jazz there and hope and pray Jordan Vivas can hit that 500 we are expecting, or even somebody else like Peraza or him to just play at second base at that point. I mean, there's really no other answer, right? Because Nolan's expensive and they still want so much for him. Ryan McMahon is a dream. Jose Ramirez is never going to happen. So we have to stick with the reality of what we have in our farm system. And then obviously DJ LaGlasshouse is the only option we have. We're paying him $20 million a year. So we're going to have to utilize him for the next, like you said, 60% of the time he's going to be at third base. So there's no other option there. And then, like, who really else is out there that we can even trade for, really, at this point in time? Not many, unless you really want to be, decisive and say the hell with the money and go and get a Bregman for cheap if he really wants to come and win, which I doubt he wants to. And I know Judge doesn't want to bring him over here because he hates him. So that's the only other option I could see if it makes sense. Maybe a 3-year, $80 million, maybe if he wants to do that. I doubt it, but that's the only other option that's left at that point.
I can't see Bregman being a reality because of all the tension between Aaron Judge. Listen, if the Yankees were to go out there tomorrow and sign him and Aaron Judge is okay with it, copy. It's the captain. We got to live with what the captain says, right? But I don't see Alex Bregman being a reality for the New York Yankees. I think from the people I spoke with, Alex Bregman, if he doesn't go back to the Houston Astros, he's most likely going to go to the Cubs. Either the Cubs or the Detroit Tigers. That's where he's going to go, right? The Cubs are heavily rumored to him. He has his ties with the manager of the Detroit Tigers, A.J. Hinch, which was his former manager with the Houston. And I don't see him. I don't see him coming to New York. I don't see him going to Queens. He may go to Queens. There's a better chance of him going to Queens than there is a better chance of him signing with the New York Yankees. That's the one thing I know about Alex Bregman. But one thing I want to say before we switch gears, right, to the next topic, which is Aaron Boone, because Hal Steinbrenner threw out there a possible contract extension during the season for Aaron Boone. Yankee fans lost their mind from that. But got to talk about prospects, right? Because Jason Dominguez is going to be our starting left fielder or center fielder for the season, right? We all have been waiting for Jason Dominguez. We all have been waiting for Jason Dominguez, right, Grace? Like, we all have been waiting for this young man to finally grace us with 162 games at the major league level. This is the season we're going to see that from Jason Dominguez, but we have to have a talk about the Yankees prospects, right? Because Baseball America and the prospect rankings, they just got released over the past couple of days. And one prospect who is not on the top 100 prospects anymore, one prospect that fell out of the top 100 prospects is Grace's favorite prospect, Spencer Jones. Spencer Jones is not a top 100 prospect in Major League Baseball anymore. Spencer Jones, I may say it, he is being labeled as a bust right now. Grace Monroe, I know prospects is one of your favorite topics. Before you go, Grace, Big Ant with the $5 super chat helping us keep the lights on.
I gotta buy me and the folks some pizza after this.
He says, I agree with you, Hector, about Cash not being fired. However, the majority of championships on the Cash were Stick Michael players, the exception of 2009. Ant, you ain't getting no argument for me here, brother.
Another one.
You ain't getting no argument for me. But Grace, on to your favorite topic, the prospects.
My favorite topic.
Spencer Jones. Go ahead.
Let me tell y'all, I didn't even know Hector was going to bring up Spencer Jones today. This was not on the topic list, but luckily I stay ready for this conversation. Okay, so let me just tell you a little something. Spencer Jones had 200 strikeouts last season, and this is the second most strikeouts in all of the minor leagues. All of the minor leagues. And just take a second and think about the worst team in baseball and their horrible minor league system. Okay? Just think about the boo-boo minor league teams that exist out there. All the minor league teams. Spencer Jones struck out the second most of all of the players of all the minor leagues last season and set the Yankees franchise record for most strikeouts in a single season of all time, of any minor leaguer of all time.
Of all time.
And he has a 37% strikeout rate. 36.8, 37% strikeout rate, which is the highest among all qualified AA players. So anybody want to trade Jose Ramirez for Spencer Jones? Can I interest you in this trade? Can I interest you in any? Nobody wants him. Okay? I'm sorry to say it like that. I'm sure he's a very nice person and a good-looking kid. Unfortunately, we have held on him too long at this point, and his trade value is plummeted.
Yeah.
And now he's not even on the top 100 prospects. I'm not sure if I do think he's on the top 30 Yankees prospects list still.
No, he's still ranked as a top Yankee prospect. Like that hasn't changed. He's still in the top 30 for the Yankees. He's still in the top 5 for the Yankees.
But what does that tell you about our trade value assets? If this guy's not even on the top 100 list of all baseball, but he's still in the top 30, and he's pretty high, I think, of the top 30 of the Yankees prospects, what does that tell you? And you're out here screaming about, we need to get Arenado, we need to trade for Arenado, we need to trade for this guy, we need to trade for that. And teams don't want what we have. We can't just trade them, whatever we want. They have to want the assets that we have to move. They don't want them. The only assets we have that have value, we need them.
Yep.
We need them because you need depth for a season, right? You don't necessarily need the depth necessarily in like a 7-game series or a 5-game series, but you need it to get through a season, right? So I smelled Joey Gallo all over Spencer Jones months ago, and all of y'all tried to kill me in the comments, tried to kill me in the chat when I said to trade Spencer Jones for a closer at the trade deadline last year. And I'll never forget, and I know who y'all are, and I kept the receipts, okay? Yeah. I know who y'all are who said I was crazy and being wild and you're a girl, you don't know anything about baseball, when I said it's time to trade Spencer Jones to get a closer.
Yeah.
But go on, please.
Yes. No, I agree with you, Grace. And even when you and we had those conversations, right? I never attacked it from a place of I don't want to trade Spencer Jones. I just felt like if the A's trade Mason Miller, they're just stupid. Like if who are just one of the worst
Turns out
organizations.
they kind of are.
I didn't believe that the Oakland A's were that stupid. That's why I didn't really wanted the whole like Spencer Jones for Mason Miller conversation. If the A's were to do that dumb trade, go ahead and do it. But I think now, looking at it, it's easy to have a hindsight 50-50 judgment when it comes to Spencer Jones. This is a kid that the Yankees took a gamble on. Right. It was a guy that he was a top ranked coming out of Vanderbilt, two-way player. Right. He got injured as a pitcher. He moved over to being an outfielder, and he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Every year it's just injuries after injuries. And there has not been a time where you see Spencer Jones make an improvement when it comes to his strikeout numbers. He has a long swing. He has power. But what Spencer Jones has, he has batting practice power. That's his power in batting practice, not in the game. And the game is totally different. Spencer Jones hasn't been able to put it together on the field. He has all the tools in the world. He has the makeup for it. He can't stay healthy, and he can't produce on the field. Maybe Spencer Jones could find it this year, and maybe his value goes back up. I'm not too sure, but I think the Yankees, as of right now, Spencer Jones is looking more of a bust than anything else, right? I know a lot of people talked about, this could be Aaron Judge 2.0. We're lucky if Spencer Jones can turn into Joey Gallo. And I don't mean that to be joking. I know we mentioned him earlier. For what is looking right now, we are lucky if Spencer Jones comes close to whatever the fuck Joey Gallo is.
Joey Gallo was good when he played with the Texas Rangers, by the way. He was a good outfielder with great defense, and he had crazy pop, and he had a high strikeout rate, but it worked on that team for the role that he had on that team. And when they acquired him, a lot of Yankees fans were really excited about it.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, right? But here's one thing I want to say, and I want to throw it over to Ghost and get your thoughts on this. Because I heard that the reason that they're going to have Jason Dominguez, my boy's on TV. He's going to be playing left field because they're expecting Spencer Jones to come up and play center in 2026. And that just bet to not be true, because Jason Dominguez, y'all looking him over for Spencer Jones's future, y'all counting your eggs way before they're hatched, keeping center field lane open for Spencer Jones, who's in AA, failing when Jason Dominguez is up on the major league level and he needs his chance. So that just better not be what's happening. Ghost, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. He's having terrible at-bats, and, we don't need someone like that right now when he's having a terrible, start, even to when he was just striking out even before having the highest strikeouts ever as a minor leaguer, and especially a top prospect like him. So I definitely don't want him up right now. And, I mean, you said it best, Grace. He was a top prospect that was so valuable a few years ago. We should have traded for him. Should have sent them off somewhere.
That's
to get something we could have gotten a value. You know what I mean? And now look at him now. We can't even get rid of him for nothing because, we can see his statistics from his strikeouts, from his plate appearances. It's terrible. So, yeah, I can't see what you can do with him unless like somebody just wants him to want him, which I doubt that's even the case as well.
Yeah, I just got to say, folks, we got over 100 people in the building rocking out with us right now. We got over 30 people on TikTok, over 40 people on YouTube. If you guys can, if you're watching this on YouTube, click that like button, hit the subscribe button if you aren't following us. Just to let you guys know, I will be down at spring trading from February 20th to February 27th. I will be going to 3 Yankee games, working media, 2 Tampa Bay Ray games, because they have some games down there as well. But I'll be down at George M. Steinbrenner Field for about a week, going to 3 different Yankee games, working for Latino Sports with my media and press passes. So I will be on the field interviewing players. Make sure you guys are following. If you guys want to help us out and support, you guys could just donate to the cash. Go donate to my PayPal. That's it right there. You could drop a super chat. We appreciate the super chat. But when it comes to the PayPal, YouTube takes 30% of whatever you guys donate. PayPal, it's automatic, right? So if you guys want to help out when it comes to spring training, there's my PayPal link right there. But AA with the $4.99 super chat, helping us keep the lights on over here. Grace can be that thing. Yankees AA squad. Sticks Jones has developed 2020 to 2022. Judges swing at unhittable pitches. Let's root for success. AA. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Grace. Sorry about that.
Okay, no, you're good. This is what I want to say. Yes, I mean, of course, I want the Yankees to win. I want everybody to do well. Okay, I absolutely want Spencer Jones to light on fire and be the lefty Aaron Judge. Okay, of course, I want that to come to fruition for sure. Okay, but that being said, what I was saying was people were suspecting that the long-term plan for the Yankees, because of what Aaron Boone's comments were on WFAN the other day, where he was asked about the outfield, what the outfield makeup's going to be this year. He said, and this isn't a direct quote, I'm going to paraphrase, Aaron Judge is going to be in right, Bellinger, I almost said Clay again. Cody Bellinger is going to be in center, and Jason Dominguez is going to be in left. And this is why he said, because he doesn't want to move Jason Dominguez around because he's new and he wants him to have like a permanent spot. Cody may move around on Judge DH days or rest days, etc., but he doesn't want to move Jason around. Copy. Cool. Great. Got that. But that to me was a flag because I'm thinking that next season, not this season, I don't think they're looking at Spencer Jones for this season. Next season, 2026, y'all, okay, 2026. This is what I think their plan is. Goldie will be gone. Cody will move to first.
Yeah.
Center field will be open, and that's when they're looking to move Spencer Jones into center. And that's why they don't want Jason Dominguez to get used to center field because they want it to be open for Spencer Jones in 2026. And that's what pisses me off because Jason Dominguez is here now. And he is our top prospect. And he is in the baseball top 100. And he is our number one of our top 30. And he has a chance to really be somebody. And his chance is center field. Now, I'm not saying he can't learn to play left field. Of course he can. Maybe he'll have a great year in left field. But I want him to have his best chance. And his best chance, in my opinion, is in center field. Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. I don't care about Spencer Jones in 2026 yet, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, if he proves it to me, he lights on fire, he has a great year in AAA, maybe, et cetera, then we deal with it when that happens. But steering the ship this way, hoping that XYZ miracle is going to happen when Jason Dominguez is here now and deserves his shot, pisses me off.
I think it creates, I can see that argument, and I think it creates more avenues and more lanes or more options for the Yankees, right? One option being if Spencer Jones is able to show that he has something down in the minors, maybe he could be an option in 2026. Another lane that it helps to create with Cody Bellinger being so versatile, if the Yankees see that Spencer Jones is a bust during the season and he's not ready for 2026, the Yankees could easily pivot and go out there and get Murakami, one of the guys that Yankees are rumored to be heavily going for. You can have Murakami be your first baseman and still keep Cody Bellinger as your center fielder, right? Or if that situation doesn't work out, right, if the Yankees lose out on Murakami, you still have Kyle Tucker that's out there that's available that the Yankees can go out there and sign, move him to a corner outfield spot, and move Jason Dominguez to center field. So I think it creates different avenues. I think, again, a lot of people, not you, but like a lot of people online, Grace, have been looking into these comments and thinking, oh my God, the house is on fire. What are we doing? We can't compete with the Dodgers. Again, stop talking about the Dodgers. We are New York Yankees. I want to shout out my guy, Richie Rivera from Empire State of Baseball. Richie, how you doing, my guy?
Another one.
He says, hello, folks. It's been a long time. Happy Thursday. Let's go, Yankees. Absolutely. We got our guest backstage, my guy, Jake from the Bronx Zoo. Jake, let me get a thumbs up. Let me know when you're ready to rock out. My guy, Jake's ready to go. I want to shout out everybody in the building. Mr. Graham Highlanders in the building. How you doing? Jose Medina, salute. My guy, Joey C. If you don't want to move Dominguez around, just leave him in center field. Absolutely, Joey. I think that's what every Yankee fan could agree with right now. So now, without further ado, I'm going to bring up my guy, Jake from the Bronx Zoo. You guys recognize him from the Instagram, from the social media feed. But this is my guy, Jake. Jake, how you doing, bro?
What's going on? I hope you can hear me okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're good, bro. You're coming in clean. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good. What's going on? Thank you for having me.
Of course. Jake, you know your family, bro. We've known each other for
course.
quite some time. For those that
Yes,
you
sir.
don't know, the Bronx Zoo, my guy Jake from the Bronx Zoo, he has an amazing following on Instagram. He works as well with Brandon Steiner and Collectible Exchange. Jake, if you just want to tell the people the work that you do with Brandon Steiner, I don't want to speak for you.
Yeah, no. So me and Brandon, we do a lot. I've known Brandon since I was in college. I was an intern with Brandon, and one of the best people I've ever met in this industry. And we do a bunch of shows. We got something big in the works, and hopefully that announcement comes out soon. We've been working on this for a long time, so hopefully in the next 2 weeks we can finally announce it. But we're going to be working on that together, and then we do eBay Lives. We do just social media stuff in general. We give a lot of stuff out to fans and make a lot of content together. And I'm a part of the Collectible Exchange family. I love working here, and but yeah, you know, we've teamed up the zoo with CX to try and get more fans to reach out, and I'm a big into the collecting game too. I love memorabilia and things like that. So there's, you know, the zoo's still the zoo, but you know, we're able to have a lot more opportunities because of CX.
Fire. Now, I know we got the Hall of Fame signing that's coming up this weekend. Can you just let the people know about the work that you guys are doing with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation as well, Jake, if you don't mind?
Yeah, no, that's actually with our friend Frank Luna. He'll be with Tunnel to Towers. My apologies. With Andrew Velasquez on Sunday. That's going to be an appearance. The fans can go talk to him, get autographs, and all those proceeds from Hall of Fame signings, they're going to be giving to Tunnel to Towers, which I've actually met Frank Siller from Tunnel to Towers a couple years ago at a previous job, and I got to have breakfast with him one day, and he is one of the most incredible individuals I've ever met, and the work they do there is some of the most important that this world will ever see. So I'm excited for that, you know, pairing of Tunnel to Towers and Hall of Fame signings, giving all those proceeds. It's what makes this weekend so great with all Yankee fans and all Yankee memorabilia, and of course all Yankees individuals, not just players but broadcasters, super fans, Spike Lee. I mean, it's going to be an incredible weekend. It always is.
Yeah, that's dope. I appreciate the work that you guys are doing over there, Jake. Always love seeing the hustle. But I want to ask you now, we got to focus on this team now, right? As somebody that you have the post of the fans being down at Yankee Stadium, covering the games, questioning fans. What do you make of this offseason, right? Let's get your reflection, you know, after we lose Juan Soto to the spectators over there in Queens. Exactly.
A guy that doesn't care about legacy or history, I'm fine. I don't need that guy on my team.
Yes.
The greatest time periods of the Yankees history, we have lulls in Yankees history, and you can specifically look at the players that were there, and there wasn't necessarily I guess when you had the core four, it was a bunch of guys who wanted to be Yankees. Don Mattingly, you know, he was Mr. Yankee during that time period, but it was such a mix and match of, you know, the kind of the zoo team fading away, and there was a mix and match guys. I don't want to say they didn't want to be Yankees, but when we are at our best, it's when we have a core of guys who want to be here. And that has always been the case. And I think it is now, and I think we have that core. I think we had the best offseason since 2009. It's not because we got better overall. For not getting Soto, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Soto is a tremendous talent. He's not the only thing we needed. We didn't lose the World Series because of Juan Soto. We didn't win because we had him. We didn't have enough. We didn't have enough offense. We didn't have enough defense spread around the field. The pitching was good, but we went out and got top 3 closer in baseball. I think Devin Williams is going to be the best closer in baseball this year. I've always loved him. I think that he is one of the – I mean, I saw something yesterday that he's one of 3 pitchers with Clase, Skeens, and him who have pitched 130 innings and has an ERA under 2. I mean, 130 innings as a relief pitcher, guy who's been around, 3-time All-Star, it's pretty good. So I think getting him, you bolster your already good rotation with Fried, gives you flexibility to make one more move. And then I think Cody Bellinger is going to be a stud. I've always loved Cody. I've gotten to meet him a couple times. He has the personality for New York. He's thrived in LA. He's thrived in Chicago. Now he's coming to the East Coast. That if you can thrive in all 3, you're a pretty standout star. So, and then Goldschmidt's a seasoned veteran. He's going to give us more production at first. Of course, I still want Rizzo back as a bench guy or even more of a coach. I just love Rizzo. I think if he doesn't sign, make him a coach to some degree because I think his presence is good. But I think overall we're better. I don't think we're done. I think we have one more move in the tank, and I think it's going to happen soon.
I'll throw it over to my co-host Grace. Folks in the chat, if you guys can, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got over 140 people rocking with us collectively, so please show some love and shout out to the crew that's in the building. Go ahead, Grace.
Yeah, everybody's talking about how Marcus, excuse me, everyone's talking about how Marcus Stroman unfollowed the Yankees on Instagram, and everybody's out there acting like Sherlock Holmes, trying to figure out everything, saying that a move is coming. I think we definitely have one more move in the tank. I think it's going to be a left-handed reliever. I just don't think Matt Blake is going to send us into the season with a single lefty in the bullpen. I just don't see it happening. I think that that's probably the last move that we're going to make before spring training. I don't think that DJ or Peraza most likely will be the third baseman after the trade deadline. But that is something that I think is probably going to happen down the road, unless an offer we can't refuse is made. And then they'll make that move. But I do think we're going to get a lefty reliever soon. I don't know what's going on with Marcus Stroman. But yeah, I don't know if we should read that much into that, but who knows? He's kind of dramatic with his Instagram. And that's not a shot. I'm super dramatic too. But he's kind of dramatic with his Instagram. He'll like delete everything and then he'll like put it back, and I like following him, honestly. It's very entertaining.
Yeah, no, definitely. I want to shout out Double A with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you again. Big Ant NYC. Thank you for the couple of the $5 super chats, folks in the chat. I just want to highlight some chats and I'll throw it over to Ghost. My guy, Mr. P from the East Line's in the building. How you doing? Graham says, Hector, you should reach out to some of the guys that cover the Yankees farm. Spencer is going nowhere apart from the majors. Listen, Graham, Los from Yankees farm. That's somebody that I'm real close with. Him and I are actually in talks to do something together in spring training while I'm down there. I'm not sure if he's going to be down there at the same time I'm down there, but him and I, we are in talks to do a collaborative stream to talk about some of the Yankees prospects. Ghost, I'm going to toss it over to you to get your take on what Jake talked about, and then we got to talk about the favorite topic that Yankee fans are talking about on Twitter, Aaron Boone's contract extension. Go ahead, Ghost.
Yeah, I definitely don't know what they're going to do after the fact with Stroman, and if they do trade him, what value does he have and where is he going to go? If it is a bullpen piece, cool. Or if it is another infielder, cool. I don't really see where else they can go after that. I know that the Yankees made a lot of significant moves, obviously with Soto leaving at the time, and seeing where the Yankees are now, makes a lot more sense to see where their direction is. And so I think as it stands right now, whether they do trade him or not, just to get rid of the money, I'm okay with it. But I think the next piece I think they might just get is probably a left-handed reliever. And if they happen to get another piece after that, great, just to kind of fill in the last hole that they need at second or third. I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah. Third base, right? Oswaldo Cabrera. Jake, that's someone that you and I, we both know. Great human being off the field. Amazing talent when it comes to being a baseball player. For me, when it comes to Oswaldo, his best ability and what makes Waldo so special, Jake, is the fact that he could play multiple positions. You could put him in late in the game and you trust him enough that he's going to make the play whenever the ball is hit to him. I feel personally, maybe you could speak better on this than I can, Jake. I feel that if you take Oswaldo and you stick him at one position over 140, 162 games, you're taking away what makes him so special, and you're taking away what is the most value he brings, and the most value he brings is his versatility. So I just feel that it's mismanaging and misusing Oswaldo if you just stick him at one position. Jake, what's your thoughts on that before I jump into the Aaron Boone convo, and I'll throw it over to Grace Salidas. Go ahead, Jake.
I would say so. Oswaldo has the talent to be a star starter. He has that talent. He has that ability. He can do anything on that field. I truly believe that he is one of the most dynamic players we've ever seen in the last 15 years for the Yankees. If he was going to start every day and the Yankees kind of gave that hint that they would do it, I'm all on board. Make him our third baseman. But they have shown that his like you mentioned, his value across being the best utility man in baseball. We haven't seen someone like him since Ben Zobrist. That guy was another great utility guy, played everywhere on the field. I think Oswaldo gives you that, and that's needed in the situation where we do have injuries arise in multiple positions. Oswaldo can play any position. He has played every position for the Yankees besides catcher, and I think that will happen at some point. He has that ability. To bounce off of the lefty relief comments, I think we're going to get, I like Stroman. I will stand on this until the day I die that Marcus Stroman should have been utilized in the World Series, even in the bullpen when we had multiple games where we weren't going our way. You might as well just try it, because what's the difference at that point? Maybe you get a spark. I think we underutilized him. He wasn't that bad in the first half. Down the stretch, he kind of did, but I think it would be better for him and for us to make a move, and I think we will make that move. Everyone knows who I want. I have not hit it. I want Nolan Arenado at third base. Anyone who talks about a decline, go look at the fielding numbers. That's all I'm worried about right now. We lost the World Series because of defense, and I think there's an opportunity to make a trade involving Stroman to balance out the salary, and you get your lefty reliever with either JoJo or John King. I think that's a possibility that you can make the move and complete your offseason in one. So
exactly. Just send them Marcus Stroman and Spencer Jones, right, Grace? And that would get it. And that would get the deal.
They would love that.
They would love it. I think you'd get anyone you want if you send Spencer Jones.
Right, exactly.
But I do think that this deal could get done. And anyone who's super concerned about 2 years from now, that seems to be the same people who want Bregman. I think Bregman's going to have a sharper decline than Arenado. Arenado has proven he's a better overall offensive and defensive third baseman. And I don't know. I'm not worried about 2 years from now. I'm worried about this year. I think we got to capitalize. I mean, Judge is getting older. Cole's getting older. And I understand if people disagree, but I think right now you got to go 1 year at a time, not 3 years at a time.
Yeah, 100%. We got over 120 people rocking out with us, 50 on YouTube. If you guys can, smack that like button. Let's try to get the stream to as close as we can to 50 likes on the stream. Grace, I'll toss it over to you. Let's get your take when it comes to Mr. Aaron Boone's contract extension, because that's something that we heard Howard Steinbrenner bring up with Meredith Marakovich. Now, this is something that Yankee fans, we could lose our minds talking about Aaron Boone and a contract extension. Should he get it? Should he not get it? Grace, what's your thoughts on it? And folks in the chat, let us know, because I was just surprised that he said during the season. We never do that during the season. But what's your thoughts, Grace?
I think this is not new information. Hal said this shortly after they lost the World Series. He has already said that he intends to extend Aaron Boone. So like I said, this is not breaking news or anything. He's just maybe reiterating it again. I think that there is something to be said for having the power sort of taken away from you as a manager. If your team knows that you're done after this year, how much are they going to listen to you? And, they call it being a lame duck manager, right? It kind of strips you away from some of the power, some of the authority that you have. The players know, like, oh, well, I actually don't really need to worry about Aaron Boone that much. I need to worry about the bench coach, or I need to worry about the GM, or I need to worry about this guy, whatever. And it kind of undermines them. So from that perspective, I could definitely see why it would be beneficial to at least extend him a year or two. And then if something goes wrong, they can always buy him out. It doesn't mean they can't fire him. It doesn't mean they can't buy him out. It doesn't mean any of that. It just reinstates his authority with the team. That's number one. Number two is Aaron Judge loves Boone. Okay, y'all, we have to realize this. Aaron Judge has a huge say. And keeping him happy is definitely in our best interest. Okay, so I think we're probably going to have Aaron Boone while we have Aaron Judge. Okay, they haven't had a losing year. Okay, yeah, we missed the playoffs once, but we still had a winning record, right? He has had a lot of success as a Yankees manager, maybe not to the fans' satisfaction, because we haven't won a World Series. Okay, we acknowledge that. But to the macro view of being a baseball manager, he has the second highest winning percentage of all active baseball managers right now, behind Dave Roberts. He is a 584%, or he's a 584 win percentage. He's got 603 wins, which puts him up there in the conversation with some of the greatest Yankees managers of all time. And I know, I get it. Who cares about the wins? We want the shit, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I'm a Yankees fan. I get it, okay? I'm just talking from their perspective. Who would you hire? What would be the move to keep Aaron Judge happy, to keep Garrett Cole happy, keep all these guys? They love Aaron Boone, y'all, okay? So I kind of get where Hal is coming from. I'm making everybody mad today.
No, but to your point, right, and this is something that Jake can speak on too. Being around Aaron Boone, you get that feeling of, wow, this is a likable guy. Like, this guy he's awesome, right? This is a guy that he's probably having those conversations behind closed doors that some of us Yankee fans want him to have in front of the media. And guess what? That's not going to happen. This is not 1985. Aaron Boone is not going to call out Giancarlo Stanton for getting thrown out at home base during the press conference. That's not going to happen. You heard him with his interview with BT and Sal,
yes,
when he brought up, when I told Soto that, he needs to hustle down the box, and BT was like, wait, so you actually challenge players? And you saw Boone catch himself like, oh shit, I should have never said that, right? So he kind of peeled back the curtain just a little bit. Ghost, I want to get your take on that real quick and then throw it over to Jake. Folks in the chat, let's get thumbs up, thumbs down. And like Graham says, I agree with this 100%. Boone is not the problem. Players forgetting fundamentals are the problem. Absolutely. Go ahead, Ghost.
Yeah, I said this before in the beginning of the season of 2024. I can easily forgive all the stuff Aaron Boone has done if we won the World Series that year against the Dodgers. And again, you can bring up statistics, you can bring up numbers, you can bring up the years he's had winning records, and even the horrible losses, the terrible plays, the terrible record we had with him, and all that other stuff. I've said before that I would rather deal with him getting fired than him still being on the team because he has pissed me off more than he's made me happy. But at the same time, I can understand that, he's done a lot of things for this team. He's done a lot of things to make everything, fundamentally better for everyone that's in that clubhouse, especially with him being respected by the players and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's about winning, and it's about learning to play the game the way it's supposed to be, and seeing how we played this entire season, especially in the playoffs, especially against the Dodgers, kind of puts into question, like, is he going to be the same manager that's going to get us back to the playoffs, or is he going to be the same manager that's going to cost us a playoff run? So that's kind of where I'm worried with him, because if you give him a contract extension now because of the 2024 season and not look at the rest of the seasons before that, you got to take that into account. I'm not going to just remember the one season we had great and forget about the rest of the bad ones that he had before. So, again, I'm okay with it for now if it's only another year. But if it's for more than a few years, I don't think so. I don't think I can tolerate another few more years of Boone.
No, I agree with you, Ghost. And again, shout out to everybody who's in the building. I don't want to I know a lot of Yankee fans, and Jake, you know this firsthand. A lot of Yankee fans lose their minds when it comes to Aaron Boone and when it comes to how he manages or the type of manager that they want. Like I said, I'm not going to blame Boone for not calling out players in the media. He's not going to do that. I'm pretty sure Aaron Boone holds players accountable behind closed doors. They have that behind closed doors, and that's something that I learned when I worked in EMS and I was a 911 supervisor. That's one thing that my mentor, she always told me. She's like, listen, if you want to get the best out of your workers, if you want your workers to trust you and know that they could come to you and confide with you, you have to be able to meet them at the base level, at a human level, right? So what I used to do is, if I had an issue with Ghost, I'm pulling you to the side and we go have that conversation to the side. I'm not going to reprimand you in front of everybody else that you work with, because one, now you don't want to be there no more. Secondly, now you're not going to respect me because I just embarrassed you in front of all the other coworkers. And that's, I think, how Aaron Boone handles the situation. Again, shout out to my guy Future, who is in the building. Appreciate all of you guys. Smack that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are sitting at almost 4,800 subscribers. We are just 5 subscribers away. So hit the subscribe button. Help us get to 48. Help us get to 5K. We're trying to get to 5K before spring training. Jake, I'll toss it over to you one more time. When it comes to this Aaron Boone conversation and this Aaron Boone situation, during the middle of the season, because this is something that the Yankees aren't used to. We aren't used to contract negotiations during the season. during spring training, we always wait till after the season. Do you think that how Steinbrenner is moving differently right now, or is it something like Grace said? It's just so he doesn't have that lame duck manager title onto him, right? Do you think the contract extension will happen during the season or after the season? What's your prediction on that?
I think it happens after the season, for the simple fact that to me it just seems like this will be his chance. Now, to mention the Boone comments, Aaron Boone is one of the coolest dudes you could hang out with. He's mad chill. Like, he's awesome. Like, he's a very cool guy. And I said in 2023, wasn't his fault. It wasn't. He wasn't given the roster. In 2024, he made very good managerial decisions up until not putting Tim Hill in the game. I think every decision, and that seems like it's kind of escaping the problem because, yeah, we got to the World Series and then there was a mistake. But that was such a glaring managerial decision that I think this year he has a lot riding on his bullpen usage because we have a better bullpen now. We still need that lefty, but that really kind of set things back for him. For people who are like, oh, Boone just mismanages the bullpen. And that's the most important part. I think Boone's a great manager. I want to see Boone win with the Yankees. I think if he has another great season and gets to the World Series, they'll extend him. I don't think they'll extend him during the season. I think Hal and Brian both want him to succeed because they like him. They all have clearly gel well together. There's not as much contention probably with Girardi. And Joe Torre was such a veteran presence. You're not going to go argue Joe Torre. So it's like, I'm sure like Aaron, this is his first managerial role. Cashman has been around for a long time. Boone's getting that experience. Now he's to the point where he is a veteran. So they've all kind of grown together. And I think everyone wants to see him be the guy. I think this year, more than anything, is going to be the most crucial year in his career. Because if he can get there again and not win, unless maybe it's the Dodgers, I just think, I mean, they'll kind of do what they said kind of this past couple weeks where, well, it's the Dodgers. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. So that he'll have that defense. But, I mean, the one more point I just wanted to hit was the comments about reprimanding players to first in the media. He's not going to do that. These are grown men. A manager's job isn't to tell grown men how to play baseball. They played it their whole life. A guy's going to run to first or he's not. That's going to do nothing. I'm all for the Billy Martin style of making guys, maybe a little bit publicly embarrassed if they're not doing their job correctly. I get that. Boone doesn't want to do that, and I don't think you have to because these guys play baseball for a living. They don't want to hear it. Boone doesn't want to say it. But I think there needs to be more of an emphasis on, I'll say it because he's not on the team anymore. Gleyber Torres, last year, there was that 1 week where he sat him down, and I think that was okay because he wasn't doing what he needed to performance-wise, and that's why Boone kind of sat him down. I'm only saying his name because it happened. I think it needs to happen more. I think if, Volpe's slacking, sit him down. If Stanton, a guy who's 35, isn't running to first, granted, that's a little bit different, but, I mean, I'm just trying to say, I think that you need to have the honest conversation with your players that if you're not going to perform as much as you need to, you're just not going to play. You don't need to reprimand them in the media.
I think Aaron Boone had a great year last year, maybe his best year managing so far, which is a trajectory that you want. As a GM or as an owner, your manager is going up, up, up. We made it to the World Series. The only complaint we really had last year from Aaron Boone was, as a fan base, that Clay Holmes was left as the closer too long. We were yelling, screaming, get him out of the closer role. He doesn't need to be in the closer role, right? But we don't know what was going on behind the scenes.
Yep.
We don't know if maybe Aaron Boone was begging for a closer behind the scenes and kept running him out there like, look, guys, this is my closer. I need a better closer. You need to make a move, do something. We don't know if that was happening. We don't know everything, right? But all the while, we were still in first place in the division. We were still in first place in the American League. We had the best record in baseball. We had the best road record in best record in American League. We had the best road record in all of baseball, and we went to the World Series at the end of the day. Okay, and let me just remind everybody in the chat, and everybody in the whole world, let me just shout it from the rooftops. We could have beaten the Dodgers. Okay, let me just remind everybody, we should have won Game 1. Okay, we should have won Game 5. Those are just off the top of my head right there. We did win Game 4. The series could have gone very differently with better defense, and that is the plight, right? We've improved the defense. Let's roll it out this year. I'm excited for what we're going to do, and you can't blame Aaron Boone for that. You cannot blame Aaron Boone that Garrett Cole didn't cover first, and I love Daddy Cole. I'm not calling him out. You can't blame Aaron Boone that Anthony Rizzo didn't hustle it out to first. You can't blame Aaron Boone that Aaron Judge dropped the one ball, the one error he'd had all year. You can't blame Aaron Boone for that, you know? Yeah. So anyway.
No, I'm right there with both Grace and Jake. And it's something that I always said. I don't blame Aaron Boone that Aaron Hicks is our left fielder, right? I didn't blame Aaron Boone for that. I didn't blame Aaron Boone that Joey Gallo and Frankie Montas was on this team. That's not Aaron Boone's problem, right? He just has to deal with the players that he has, and he has to put them out on the field and get the best out of them. That's all you can ask from your manager. And to Jake's point, and like Graham says, Billy Martin, you be bailing him out of the jail of the king. You'll have to glue his ass to the chair. He'd be jumping off the table after any journalist that gets him upset. Absolutely. Shout out to my guy Li Yankee King in the building. The only troll in the Yankee universe I acknowledge and I love is my guy Li Yankee King. And if you guys have an issue with Li Yankee King, you guys have an issue with me. One thing that I want to say, go ahead, Grace. I see you.
I want to say one thing really fast about Aaron Boone before we change the subject. When he was on WFAN, he made it very clear that he's pissed off about losing the World Series, that the Dodgers comments that they made, and we all know the very public comments that they came out and called out the defense, and they were playing Yankees baseball and all this stuff running their mouths after they won like losers. That's what losers do, by the way, not champions, but I digress. Aaron Boone made it very clear that pissed him off. They asked him, have you gotten over the World Series loss yet? He goes, I'll never get over it. So you want a manager going into this season that is pissed off, that is hungry, that wants to get back to the World Series so bad, that wants to go prove himself. I know, I don't know Aaron Judge personally, but I can bet you that he is hungry to go prove himself even more than he was before. He's the best right-handed hitter of all time, And he has the chance to go prove that and shut everybody up in the postseason this year. He's still in his prime. Garrett Cole is still there. I mean, we've got an amazing chance this year, and the American League is wide open again. So with that being said, you want to have a hungry crew, and Aaron Boone is part of that hungry crew. So you don't want to mess that up necessarily. Okay, that's what I wanted to say, Heck.
Facts. Grace with the Undertaker music coming in heavy. Heard you, Grace. But one thing I wanted to say and bring up to Grace's point, right? And Jake, I know you got to dip off in a few, so I just want to get this last thing in and to get your thoughts on it. I love bringing up George Steinbrenner, right? I love, just like Jake loves bringing up George Steinbrenner, Yankee fans love bringing up George Steinbrenner, right? The one thing that irks me, right, is when I go on Twitter and I see some of these, and my guy Keith, shout out to Keith, because Keith was talking about this on the show last night, and Keith brought it up, seeing some Yankee fans who are like 24, 25 years old, screaming on the internet, oh my God, if George Steinbrenner was alive today, if George said, bro, you weren't even in your father's nutsack when George was alive. What are you talking about? Invoking George, I'm 35 years old, right? When the Yankees won in 1996, I was 7. I hardly remembered 1996. I hardly remember 98, 99, 2000s. So I can't sit back and be like, hey, if George was alive, he'll do what he did in the 80s. I wasn't around watching it, so I'm not going to invoke it, right? As much as we love George Steinbrenner, there has been some misses as well, and I love bringing it up. Trading Fred McGriff in the 80s, that's a horrible move. Trading Willie McGee, who was a Hall of Famer, to the St. Louis Cardinals, that's a horrible move. If Don Mattingly had had both of those players on his team, he would have went to the postseason at least once. So as much love and as much credit we give to George, we have to understand that George made some misses as well. And to you Yankee fans that are 25, 26 years old, calm down, because you don't even remember the TV that had the 13 channels that you had to click, 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 click. You weren't alive for that. I was alive for that, right? You weren't alive for high-speed internet, right? We had to wait 5 minutes before we could check out AOL mail. You weren't alive for that. Jake, I want to toss it over to you because I know you got to dip out soon, but let's get your thoughts on that.
I'll always believe in the George mentality. I'm kind of maybe a little different here. Even if you didn't see him, I think it's just more of what he stood for. Whatever it takes to win. You're right. There are some guys. Willie McGee, good call, because that was one of the most bad trades in Yankees history to give up him. But I think that George is an idea. You know, a guy who worked his way up, was able to buy the Yankees, and then he could have, sent it in, but he was committed. He was one of those guys, those owners that was directly involved. And I think that's the concept that I think people rally behind, is that he had an ownership stake in it, but he had an ownership stake as a fan in their success. When your owner's a fan of the team and not just an owner of the team, that's why people rally behind George. And I mean, I get it that those ways are gone. And Hal is correct. There are some different things that, George would have had a hard time dealing with today if he owned the Yankees, especially luxury taxes, other teams that have the ability to outspend him. Not that anyone can outspend the Yankees, but I think that, I don't know, I think it's just the idea that people love of having a fan run your team, because George wasn't an owner. He was a fan of the Yankees.
Yeah, no, and I get it, right? And to your argument, that's not the argument that I was pointing out to.
Oh no, I know, I get you, and I understand where you're coming from. That he might have traded Mariano Rivera, right? There was that thing back in '95.
Rumor out there. Yeah. But
so it's like not every
luxury tax. George Steinbrenner didn't have to deal with luxury tax, and for fans to be like, "Oh, George would have spent past the luxury tax," I'm like, this is George Steinbrenner that didn't want to pay taxes in Florida for George M. Steinbrenner Field. You guys going to tell me he would want to pay luxury tax in baseball?
And I'll end with this: at the end of the day, it's a business, and they have to make money.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jake,
so as a fan, we got to understand that.
Jake, I appreciate you like always, my guy. It's always love. You already know that you family. I'll see you guys. I'll be there Saturday and Sunday, so I look forward to running it you this weekend and also during the season. Jake, appreciate you, my guy.
You got it. Anytime. Thank you, guys.
That's my guy, Jake from the Bronx Zoo. If you guys can, make sure you guys go and follow my guy, Jake, up on Instagram. He does an amazing job when it comes to the amazing crew he has outside of Yankee Stadium. What's that, Grace? What you got over there?
I wanted to ask Jake, how much can I get for this? How much can I get? It's my mom found this at a thrift store in Texas.
You know what's funny? Take a picture of it and send it to me, and I'm gonna send it to Jake. I'll be like, she forgot to ask you before she left.
1998 action figure and card of Derek Jeter still in the box.
Yeah, you guys, you sitting on gold right there. I want to shout out the chat before I continue. My guy Los from Yankees Farm is in the building. Los, your ear must have been ringing because Graham just brought you up in the chat, and I told him how I'm going to reach out to you to try to do some collabs in spring training. So shout out to my guy Los from Yankees Farm. If you guys aren't following Yankees Farm, please go and follow Yankees Farm. Los has amazing content when it comes to covering the prospects, the Yankees prospects specifically. So make sure you guys are going to follow my guy Los from Yankees Farm. Crackle Nuts is in the building. Crackle Nuts said Joe Torre and Joe Girardi got let go because they didn't win nothing in a while, but Boone won absolutely nothing, and he's still here. Yeah, I see that, Crackle Nuts. But if I'm Hal Steinbrenner, easily I could remember Aaron Boone getting us to the World Series, something that Joe Girardi didn't do before he was let go. Joe Girardi won in 2009, but from the last time we saw Joe Girardi, we lost to the Houston Astros, and that's why they brought in Aaron Boone. I agree with you. I love Joe Girardi, right? I would have loved for him to stay with the Yankees even to this day at some capacity, right? But I think they're just shifting gears and shifting philosophies. Ghost, I'm going to toss it over to you, my guy, to get your take real quick on the conversation before we get ready to wrap things up. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, as much as I would love to talk about George Steinbrenner when I wasn't even around for that, man, I definitely think winning is the biggest factor any team wants to do, and they obviously want to put the best team out there on the field and off the field. And I understand a lot of people like the friendly, be nice to your players mentality, which is fine. Everyone's methods is different. I'm not saying every method all the time works, but I've always been the type of person that you're here to win games. You're not here to be your friends. And I think that a lot of times that gets misconstrued. I'm not saying that Aaron Boone's methods and how he wants to evaluate and how he wants to act around his players isn't working, because it is. I'm not saying that it's not. But I always felt like, as if I were a skipper, I'm here to win games. I'm not here to be your pal, to shake your hand or any of that. If you're doing something wrong on the field or off the field, I'm going to tell you about it. Or if I have to correct something that's not working, like if it's a pitcher or even an infielder of any kind, I'm going to correct that and discuss that with the rest of my team. I'm not here to be your friend, because at the end of the day, we're losing because of this team, or we're losing because of me. So one of the two things has to get fixed or adjusted. So as much as I love George Steinbrenner, again, I wasn't there for his crazy antics back in the day, but I definitely think that a lot of people really should, take a little bit of his formula, but not run too crazy with it. But again, everyone's method is different. So however anyone else has to really evaluate their players and how they want to make their team work and function is up to them. But I think my way of thinking is every GM or skipper has to be their friend or play their friendly friend with them or any of that sort. But I just view it that way. So it's just, most GMs shouldn't have to be that way with their players either way.
Yeah, Grace, what's your thoughts on the convo before we get ready to wrap things up? And folks in the chat, if you guys can, please smack that like button. We are 10 likes away from 50 likes on the stream. We got over 150 people rocking with us right now. Those of you on Instagram, appreciate you guys. Go ahead, Grace.
I have a different perspective on this because, I am from Texas, and in Texas, it's all about the Dallas Cowboys, y'all. And let me tell you a little something about a man, I think you know who I'm talking about, named Jerry Jones. And what he has done, absolutely running the most valuable sports franchise of all sports into the ground. Sitting there saying, oh, we're all in and we want to win, and not doing anything to match his words, not caring. I mean, the Cowboys have not won. And let me say it, the Cowboys haven't even gone to the conference championship in over 25 years. Okay? I mean, it's horrible. Now, that is not how, y'all. And I'm telling you, unless you live in Texas and you see the day-to-day ways that Jerry Jones is, maybe you can't have the perspective of what it could be like if we had an owner that didn't care at the end of the day if they won or not. Okay, so we say, oh, Hal, people say, oh, Hal doesn't care about winning. He only cares about money. Bullshit. Bullshit. He is not like Jerry Jones, y'all. He is not. And let me tell you, y'all would be in a world of hurt. You wouldn't even know what to do with yourself, okay? If Hal did that. He has shown over and over and over and over and over and over that he's willing to spend money. And at the end of the day, he hasn't won a World Series in a long time, and yet he's still putting the money in. It would be even smarter for him, business-wise, to pull back on the salary, to increase that profit margin. But he doesn't do that. He keeps reinvesting the money. He keeps living over the tax luxury penalty area where it costs us draft picks over and over. And it costs us all these repercussions. He still does it because he wants to win. He wants to honor his father. He's not his father. He's his father's son. How would y'all feel if somebody came up to you and said, well, you're definitely not your father? No, I'm not my father. I'm me. I have my own legacy. I have my own personality. I have my own desires and everything. Now, I get it. I love to think about George as this Yankees saint, right? Because, again, Hector, we weren't really around. So he exists in this, like, Yankees angel territory. He's associated with the one of the best sports dynasties of all time, if not the best, right? He's associated with winning and fun, and now we're so far beyond it that it's this mystical, amazing time we all like to think about, okay? But I'm still grateful for the owner that we have because y'all could be so much worse. A company could come by the New York Yankees tomorrow and change everything, and they don't care about winning at all. They only care about money. And the Yankees could make somebody a hell of a lot more money if they stopped reinvesting them into the team and they just pocketed all that. I mean, it could take years for the brand to dive. Like I said, look at the Cowboys. They're still making money, and they're losers. They're still making money. But the Yankees are reinvesting. We're still going. Like, y'all, I'm telling you. Also, I wanted to say, Joe Torre, I read in these books. I think it was the Last Night of the Yankees Dynasty by Buster Olney. I don't have it here. I think it's on my other bookshelf. Joe Torre would not agree to the money terms, and that's why his contract ended. They wanted to bring him back. And it's in that book. Like I said, last Night of the Yankees Dynasty by Buster Olney details the negotiation. They wanted to cut his salary, and he refused. And they begged him. They literally begged him not to leave, and he wouldn't sign. And so that's why they pivoted to Joe Girardi. If you guys are into reading, this is a lot of like backstage, behind the scenes information here. And that's all I wanted to say about that.
Yeah. No, great.
Rest in peace, George Steinbrenner.
Rest in peace to the boss, George Steinbrenner. Shout out to Old Sarge in the building. Old Sarge is like, we're talking about personalities when we should be talking about philosophy. George, Howe, Boone, Cashman, Santa Claus, or Bigfoot. None of that matters if the team's philosophy is not about winning. Shout out to Old Sarge in the building. And Grace, you brought it up, and it clicked in my head about a corporation coming around and buying the Yankees and not caring about tradition, right? This is one thing Yankee fans, we haven't talked about. The Yankees are owned by the Steinbrenner family. The Yankees are the only team outside of the Chicago Cubs that have and own the naming rights to their stadium. Yankee fans, you guys got pissed off when you guys saw the patch, right, on the chest of the jersey. How mad will you guys be if Hal Steinbrenner sells the Yankees to some owner group, some ownership group, and then that ownership group renames Yankee Stadium to fucking AT&T Stadium, to Uber Eats Stadium, something like that? The way that Hal Steinbrenner, the Steinbrenner family, has held on to the Yankees, to the tradition, that's something that I think Yankee fans don't talk about. That's something that I think Hal Steinbrenner and the Steinbrenner family, they don't get credit for. Again, outside of the Chicago Cubs, the New York Yankees are the only sports franchise in Major League Baseball that own the naming rights to their stadium. Even though the Wrigley Field is called Wrigley Field because of the Wrigley family and stuff like that, the Yankees and the Cubs are the only ones that have that. So the moment that the Yankees sell the team to some ownership group or like that, that ownership group, Fenway Park, they don't own the naming rights to their stadium. I mean, the Red Sox don't own the naming rights to Fenway Park. Another ownership group does. A promotional ownership group, actually. So the moment that happens, Yankee fans are going to lose their minds. Yankee fans are going to lose their minds. Let's give Hal a little bit of credit. Let's give the Steinbrenner family just a little bit of credit when it comes to holding on to some seamlessly sort of tradition, which is keeping Yankee Stadium called Yankee Stadium and not turning it into Uber Eats Field or some stupid name like that.
You think an investment group's going to DFA a player when there's $30 million left on his contract? You think a investment group is going to go out there and trade for a player? And you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, y'all. Come on. Y'all, be better. Be better than that. Seriously.
And my guy Los from Yankees Farm brought up, and Grace said some of it a little bit. George has become a mythical figure to millennial Yankee fans. But keeping it 100, the real genius of the core four plus Bernie was Stick Michaels. He was the one that built those teams. And why was Stick Michaels able to rebuild? What happened at the time that forced George Steinbrenner to take a step away from the New York Yankees? George got suspended by Major League Baseball because he hired a private investigator to dig up dirt on Winfield so he could void his contract. That's what happened. I'm not sure if you guys are forgetting it or you guys don't know, or you guys have revisionist history, but the only reason the core four was the core four was because Stick Michaels was able to fully do a rebuild when George Steinbrenner stepped away from baseball. And when George came back, what did George want to do? He wanted to trade Mariano and Derek Jeter away. And Bernie, he wanted to trade them away for veterans. So again, Stick Michaels and his regime, they had to lie to George Steinbrenner and say, oh, no, nobody wants Mariano. Nobody wants Bernie Williams. No, nobody wants these players. And that's the only reason we got the core for. So like I said, I love George Steinbrenner. I love invoking George Steinbrenner's name. Let's not have revisionist history just so it could fit our narrative or just so it could fit our tweet or whatever rant we're dropping on the internet.
Yeah. I get it. We want to win. It's been a long time since we have had a title, and I get it. I really do get it. But it's not. It's not black and white. It's not. It's just not. If you don't like watching baseball, go find another hobby. If you only want to win World Series championships, then tune in October. Otherwise, shut up. It's about more than that. It's about more than that.
Ghost, what's your thoughts on this before we dip out? Because we're about to dip out right now. It's 12:20.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Grace. This is about, winning. And at the same time, if you're not here for it, then don't be here for it. You got to watch all 162 to be a part of it. And then at the end of the day, we win some, you lose some. And I hear you. It's been a long time since we won a World Series. And the last time we went to the World Series was obviously last year, and losing sucked. So hopefully we can get back to it again this year and try to win the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, spring training is right around the corner. Pitchers and catchers, they report in a week to spring training. There are some down at the Yankees spring training facilities right now. So next week, Grace is on vacay. She's MIA, so she won't be in next week. But make sure you guys tune in next week Thursday, next week Tuesday. I may be coming on live depending on what type of news is dropping. Make sure you guys follow us on TikTok. I try to go live almost every day on TikTok. You can catch me, you can catch Ghost and the rest of the crew over there. But until next time, shout out to Graham, shout out to Chris Perez, who was in the building. My brother TC Stills, how you doing? I appreciate you. L.I. Yankee King, you know I love you, my guy. Appreciate you. Mr. Graham Highlander as well. Old Sarge was in the building.
Unreal.
To old Sarge, our guy Jonathan as well, Anthony Medina, mi hermano de la isla, our good friend Tina, Jose Medina, Yankees Farm Los was in the building. Appreciate all of you guys. If I missed your name, I do apologize. Let me go back on top. Shout out to more people who was here earlier on the stream. Shout out to Jake from the Bronx Zoo, Mr. Pete. I appreciate you. Double A, shout out to Double A as well. Like I said, I will be going to the Pinstripe Pride event that's happening this weekend at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey. It's a full Yankee theme event. You're going to have so many different Yankees are going to be there. Jason Dominguez is going to be there. Devin Williams is going to be there. Grace, I'm going to try to get it signed, something from Jason Dominguez for you.
If you don't get him to make a video, this is what I need from you, a video, and say, Grace, thanks so much for being a fan. Then you're dead to me, Hector. Dead to me.
I promise I'm going to try my best. But folks, just know whatever autograph signings is collected this weekend, next week, or the week after when Grace comes back, we're going to do a raffle. And we're going to raffle off some autograph signings on the live stream. All right. Again, like I said, make sure you guys tune in. Follow me this weekend. I will be going to the Hall of Fame signing to make sure I get some signings from different Yankees that are there. Follow, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And until next time, I'm Hector.
I'm Grace Monroe.
I'm Ghost.
This is Yankees Morning Brew. Yankee fans, drink some water, say something positive, wake up, have a good day, and until next time, deuces.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.